Hey, hello traders. This is Dave with the Compass Options Live Trading Room. And just going to be a weekly, it's probably not weekly anymore, but I'm doing a Periscope video. I want to recap the last few months and especially September that we've just completed. September is over now. We're getting ready to go into October. Very difficult trading conditions in the summertime as well as September, but we had a really good September. So I want to cover some of those things. So again, good evening or good day, and thanks for listening to the video, and let's get started. First thing I've got to do is the disclaimer. All signals and trading opportunities we provide here are for educational and demonstration purposes only. Trading is very risky, so you should never trade with more money than you can afford to lose. And neither myself or Right Line Trading are licensed financial advisors, so we won't be giving any financial advice. All right. So let me first go over the strategies we use in the options room and alert service. This may be redundant to some folks, but we have new people coming into the room and onto the alert service all the time. So I just want to cover this. These are our main strategies. We do straight calls and straight puts, of course. These are the most common things we do. We also do debit spreads using weekly options expiration. We do time spreads, or in other words, calendar spreads, and we do these over earnings. We don't care the direction of the stock. We do this to collect the volatility crush that occurs when the earnings come out. And then we also do what's called a weekly ATM strategy to capture premium week after week. This is only done on neutral to bullish markets. Neutral to bullish markets. We do not have a neutral to bullish market right now. We have a neutral to bearish market. So we haven't been doing any of these lately. And then we also do SPY super systems. Now this is in the room. I don't do any alerts on the SPY super system because typically the trades are too fast. But this is when we find the very highest probability trades set up on the SPYs or the Qs. And we do this by looking at the dominator and the compass systems. And when they're aligned and there's a support or resistance level that it's bouncing off of for a good entry, those are called the SPY super systems. And we'll take those trades. All right, so this just kind of go quickly recap. This is May. You've probably seen these before, but this was our May trades. Not all of them, but most of them we took. We had some losses in there, but again, we had an 85% win rate, 37 wins, 7 losses. Not too bad. April had been 35 wins and 5 losses, 89%. It's fairly common. This is the area that we normally hit for win rates. This was June. June we had 37 wins, 6 losses, 86% win rate. Again, a few losses in there, but all in all, a pretty good month. June we had a pretty nice month as far as the amount of profits that we made. It was again the profits are more dependent upon how much of a move we get out of the stock. If we get beat up on any badly based on news or something, but generally speaking, we're gonna recapture anywhere from 10 to 40 or 50% on the trades that we do. As you can see right here, we had 28% in this time spread, 40% on this time spread, 50% on this straight trade on TSM, 12% on match, 31% on ABNB, so that they can see the area that it runs in. We also did a weekly ATM, by the way, in the May-June period, and that was on Apple, and it produced $290 profit per contract, which was pretty nice. That was over about 5 weeks. All right, this was our July trades. Again, 25 wins, 5 losses, only an 80% win rate in July. Summertime was tough. July was a tough month. And again, I was out the first 2 weeks of the month, roughly the week and a half on vacation. My wife and I went to Iceland, and we took a cruise to Iceland. We flew up to Iceland and then took a cruise around the island. It was pretty spectacular and really, really nice and cool, and spectacular scenery in Iceland. So this was our July trades. You can see we had eBay, we had a time spread that went badly against us, and Sophie as well. This was a news event that knocked us down, but generally speaking, we had about 80% win rate, which is pretty low. This was August. This was probably our worst month. This is my worst month in 3 years, and the worst month I think since we started the service back in January of 2022, which by the way was the exact first month that the bear market started. So August was tough. We were able to get 23 wins, 2 losses. 25 wins, 10 losses, 72% win rate. Really, that's very, very low for me. This is about the lowest win rate I've ever had. but that's you get these months sometimes, and it was a very difficult month. We had some winners in there. You know, we had this alt up for 67%, but we had some losers in there. We actually had a losing month that month as far as money was concerned. Not a huge amount, but compared to the good months we've had, but it was still a losing month, and I hate losing. So that was August. That's the September. So for September completed, these are all the completed trades we've done in September of 2023. I've got everyone listed here. We had have done, I forget what the percentage was here. What was it? Yeah, 23 wins, 2 losses, 92% win rate. Very good win rate. This is the kind of win rate we like to shoot for. I like to try to get between 85 and 90 every month. You just never know. Again, because the trading was so tough, we cut down. We only had 25 trades, so that's pretty low for us. But 92% win rate is pretty high, and we had some really nice wins. We had a firm that went against us on Amazon, which tanked on us in a 2-day period, which took that thing out. We could have got out for like a 96% loss, but there wasn't any money left in the premium, so I didn't bother with it. But we had some nice ones. This STX was a really nice one. It was a 108% win over 2 days. That was based on the technicals and also some news that we had mentioned that was the guidance had been lowered on that. But AI was 43%, FISA 22%, Lilly 16, Square was a small one, 5%, 16% on crowd. But all in all, pretty nice trading. Here's another Square for 23%. McDonald's for 35%. It's a pretty even spread of percentages that we gained. We had a couple of small ones, but we had some really good ones too. 108 is really pretty. I think that's one of our highest ones this year. And again, 2,000 invested in each trade in September has created $7,188 of profit. And I do mention our September trading results were outstanding and achieved in a very difficult trading conditions. This market has been extremely difficult to trade. Very hard to get any momentum that lasted for any period of time. A lot of sector rotation, which means the tech sector will be strong for a couple of days, and then they would just rotate money right out of there, and it would turn around and go right back down again. So it's very difficult when you're holding anything overnight to get a profit on it, because of the fact that the sector rotation sometimes can reverse it pretty quickly. So a good month for us in September, and we look to do the same thing in October. This is just I'll leave this in here for you. You can look at this. This was the weekly ATM we did at Microsoft, and we made $223 a contract. This was back in May, and I only put this in here so you can see how it's structured. I have a video on weekly ATMs and how we make money on them and how they should be structured. But you can see, like on May 5th, we sold the May 12th 310 puts on Microsoft. We collected a $403 credit, and we bought the 7/21, the July 21st 305, what's called a protected put. And what this does, this allows us to have a long put further out in time, in case the stock turns around and goes against us. That allows us to make money on the long put if it doesn't go in our favor. Our intention is just to let this sit out there and just keep selling puts against it. So again, on May 12th, we bought back the 512 puts right here that we sold for $403. We bought back the 512 puts for $1.69 debit when we rolled them, I think. But yeah, debit. So we made the difference between $1.69 and $403. So a pretty nice profit on that one. And then we sold the next week's 519. We sold the 310 puts for 14 credit. So we had a net credit on that particular trade of 245 overall, buying back this week's and selling next week's. Then we did it again on May 18th. We bought back the 519 puts that we just sold here for 414. We bought them back for 27 cents, so $27. So that was a massive profit there on that particular trade. We got about $390 profit per contract on that. And we sold the 526s, which is the next week. We sold those 315 puts for 319. So we got a $292 credit on that trade. And then on the same day, May 18th, which was a Friday, we went and bought back the 526 that we just sold here for 319. As the stock moved up pretty fast, we actually bought back the 526 315s for 207. So we made, right here, we made $1.12 in a couple of hours, $112 a contract. And I decided to go ahead and close out the trade altogether. So we went ahead and sold the 721 or the July 21st 305 puts for $552, so we lost about $5 on those. But we had a net of $345 from this week to this week. So our net of trade was $223 per contract profit from May 5th to May 18th. And you see we only did this 3 times. So that's how a weekly ATM works when you have a neutral to bullish market. We do not have that. But again, there's a video in the library that I've got that goes over how to construct weekly ATMs and how we do that. All right, so these are all of our win rates from January through September. I just thought I'd go ahead and throw them in here. Again, February was a weak month, 75% win rate, but generally speaking, it's between 85 and 88, 90%. We did have this 92% win rate in September, and I expect to be able to keep that going. But a good year so far, really. A couple of tough months, but again, we were trading in a bear market up till about March or April. Then it's turned kind of bullish, and now it's reversed back down again. All right, so that kind of recaps it. I'm not going to go over each one of this. This was the run we had from March through June and how much profit we made each month. See, July was a small profit, but most of the time we run between $4,000 and $8,000 a month, or a little bit more sometimes. So let's talk about, again, for anybody new, let's talk about how we find these high probability trades, setups and entry criteria. First of all, when you're looking at a trade, you want to first take a look at the daily chart of the stock that you want to trade. You want to make sure the daily chart matches the bias of your trade. So if you're looking at a stock on a 5-minute chart and it looks bullish to you and you want to go bullish, you want to go long, you've got to look at the daily chart and make sure the daily chart is also bullish. It needs to be long. It needs to have green on the daily's momentum and current time frame momentum and multi-time frame momentum. It needs to be lined up. Always have the daily chart line up with your 5-minute chart. The breakout is in the same direction as the current market trend if there is a trend. So if we have a trending day on the market, let's say it's bullish, then we're going to go long. We're going to look to go long. If we have a bearish day on the market, this market's trending down, well, then we're going to go short. We're going to try to stick with the trend in the market. If there is no direction in the market, then what we do is we just look for the best stocks we can find, long and short, and we take a breakout in the same direction as the stock's current trend, which would be on the daily chart and the 5-minute chart. We want the modified Laguerre, or the multiple, this is the momentum for the current time frame to match the trade's direction. So obviously, if we want to go long, we want blue or green for bullish, red or yellow for bearish. And we also want that same setup on the modified Laguerre for the multi-time frame. So the multi-time frame indicator also needs to be aligned with the current time frame momentum. And we'll look at a couple of charts to see how that works. We also want to select stocks that have relative strength or weakness versus the SPY. In other words, we look at a stock, and if the stock is going up faster than the SPY is, then it's got relative strength. If it's going down faster than the SPY is going down, it has relative weakness. Obviously, if you have a stock that's moving up when the SPY is moving sideways or down, you obviously have relative strength. So that's what we want to look for: relative strength or relative weakness in the stock that we take, so that if the market reverses on us when we're in that trade, we're not going to get hurt as bad because that stock is outperforming the SPY and is not likely to go against us as much as the SPY is going against the market. And again, this is a very key thing here. We want to buy at support and sell at resistance. And that would be things such as the volume weighted average price, the VWAP, the 15 EMA, a dynamic compression zone, any significant support or resistance level that we have on our charts. Those would we want to get in, and we want to look for a stock that's long to pull back to support and bounce. Or if we're going to go short, we want to see it move up toward resistance and come back down again. And that's where we want to get into those trades. And we also want to look at dominator signals and background color. I'll be looking at those. Again, I call those out during the day. If the dominator is got a bullish background and it's got buy signals, then we want to look for stocks in the compass system that also are bullish. The dominator will give us some additional edge as far as trading is concerned. A lot of times the dominator is going to be neutral, and then we just focus on the compass system. But if we've got the dominator and the compass, either bullish or bearish, that gives us a higher probability of that trade working. And I also look for Heikin reversal candles to confirm my entry, and pop out of the box signals also adds conviction to the trade. So again, having patience and waiting for a compression break is going to reduce your risk substantially. And what this means is don't be chasing stocks. Don't be getting FOMO'd out of a stock, fear of missing out. When a stock takes off and puts in 4 big green candles at the beginning of the day and is ripping higher, and you feel like I got to get into this trade, you don't want to do that. You want to wait for it to pull back to a level that is a support level, and then take advantage of it and get in at that point. And if it pops up and keeps going, then you're going to miss the trade. I understand that, but the point is you're not going to get trapped in a lot of stocks that reverse, and you'd be in a trade that was nice and bullish, but you're getting at such a high level that you're underwater for a long time, and that's very, very emotionally trying when you do that. All right, so that's the criteria for finding the highest probability trade setups. All right, so we're going to show a few charts, and I do this every week, but this is a daily chart on a trade that we took. This is on ABBV. You can see everything went green over here. This is a multi-time frame momentum, current time frame momentum. This is what's called the quant, and all this is defined in the videos I've got on the compass indicators and how we use them to find high probability trade setups. But the key here is you notice that we had a nice breakout here on ABBV, breaking out of this, breaking across the top of this compression right here, and a nice breakout. So when we see that, then okay, the daily chart's lined up. That's fine for us. We like it bullish. So here's ABBV on this is my TC2000 system, and this was also looking at the same trade. And this is what I looked at for the technical analysis on that stock. And you see this wedge we've got right here. This is an algo line right here. Let's call it algo support line, or resistance line. I'm sorry. On the upside, you see how it broke through that right here. Once it broke through that line, it becomes another bullish setup, which means it's a stock that we want to take. So that's why we took ABBV. We had a nice daily chart, and we also had a technical breakout on the stock. This is I just want to show you the SPY recently. This is a SPY that we've seen recently. Again, if you look at what we've seen here, a nice move up from this is June, July, then it pulled down here in August. It pulled right down to this algo line right here, and then turned around and moved right back up again. This is why I say this has been such a tough market. You get long here, and then if you're still long, you get trapped. And then if you get short here and you're still short, you get trapped. And then it comes up here and you get long again because this looks like it's really getting bullish, and it turns around and it gaps right down, gap down, gap down, gap down. It traps you again. And then up it comes here, and then we just had a big roll over here. Big move down, big move down. Then you had this candle. If you look at the big, huge, long-legged hammer here, it came all the way down here and then came right back up again. So all of a sudden you say, well, the market's recovering. Look what it did the next day. It gapped up slightly and then pulled right down again, and then gapped down and pulled down, and then it came down here on September 22nd. Now this is what's happened since then. Here's the big pull down that we looked at. Here's a hammer right here, a bounce up, and then on Friday, the market moved up, way up here, gapped up above the 8 exponential, which is this white line, and then pulled right back down to the middle of Thursday's candle, and it closed right down here. So very, very difficult trading conditions, and that's why this is such a hard market to trade. And you really got to focus on just finding the highest probability trade setups. All right, we'll just go through a few more. This is some we've traded recently. This was D-Dog on the daily. For anybody who's new, you can see why we like this short. You see we've got yellow and red right from here all the way across. Anywhere from here on, we had yellow and red. This shaded area here is a dynamic compression zone. It broke through the dynamic compression zone to the downside. Becomes a nice short setup. So we made some money in D-Dog. Dollar Tree, same thing. Very, very red. I mean, this is the compass system is telling you here that the institutions are selling the heck out of this trade. This is a daily chart, but you see it came out of this dynamic compression zone. Perfect place to buy right here. And it just rode it down slowly, and then we took a big gap down right here, big move down, on Dollar Tree to the downside, in which we made money on. GDX, this was a 5-minute chart. This is a trade we took in GDX a while back. If you notice here, we're looking at the dynamic, current time frame momentum and the multi-time frame momentum. Now you can see the current time frame momentum was blue from here, and then it went green. But the current time, the multi-time frame was still yellow, and then went blue. But then it all turned to green right here on this particular candlestick right here. Now, if you're an aggressive trader, you could take this as soon as this red goes to blue right here. On this candlestick right here, when this goes from red to blue, on the current time frame, you know that the institutions are starting to come in. They haven't shown that across multiple time frames yet, but they're coming in, and you notice that you've got this green 15 EMA. So you've got a bullish EMA, and you've got a pop out of the box signal, which was breaking compression. So this is for an aggressive trader, this is a nice place to get in right here. For a more conservative trader, this is where you would get in right here, as both of the current and multi-time frame went green. You could get in right here. But if you're doing a day trade, there's nothing wrong with getting in here and then taking your profits quickly. And again, you can see this thing rode up, and then we switch back here to yellow. Obviously, we're going to be out before that, but that's a nice little run there in GDX, which we took profits on. Tesla, I like to show this one because these are Fibonacci candles. And again, I have a video on Fibonacci candles, how they're constructed and how we use them to trade. But what you're looking for is what's called a reversal. In this case, a bullish reversal. And a bullish reversal with Fibonacci candles looks for a wick and a tail, or just at least a tail. You see the little wick and tail here, and then a flat bottom candle, and then another flat bottom candle. When you start getting flat bottom candles with Fibonacci candles, this is a bullish trend, and you can ride this up, and you can see every single one of these candles had a flat bottom because they're Fibonacci candles, and that tells you that the trend continues. So you can just ride it from here all the way up to here, and then if you want to take profits, this is the place to do it. Getting wicks and tails again, you're getting a little momentum starting to fade. All right, so that's Tesla. This is a SPY. This is a little different setup I have on another screen. This is the compass system, but what I'm using here is I'm using the current time frame momentum right here. This is the Laguerre, and this is a Bollinger bandwidth. I'm looking for bandwidth to expand, which means the stock's coming out of compression. But you can see here that this is a Fibonacci candle. See the wick and the tail, then a flat top. That's a bearish reversal. This is where you would take the trade right here, and you would just take it down. And again, these SPY trades are pretty quick, but you're going to ride it down 1 candle, 2 candles, 3 candles, 4 candles, 5 candles, 6 candles, 7 candles. Then you get a wick and a tail. You're out right there. Okay, and you can see the red. You can see the yellow and red right here. Again, we went from green to red. Green to yellow, that's a bearish reversal. That's where you want to grab it, there or right there. This is where I chose to take it. And you just write it down, and then as soon as you start getting some compression and some loss of momentum, you take the profits. Another SPY trade right here. And again, the same thing. You've noticed the momentum going from blue to yellow right here. See this blue to yellow? That is a bearish reversal. Now, the current multi-time frame was already bearish. So right here, where this goes from blue to yellow, and you can see how you get a pop out of the box signal right here. And this pink line is the VWAP. See the breakdown below the VWAP? That is an entry for a short. And you just take it right there, and then just ride this thing down. And then the candles start getting really small, and it starts to lose momentum. Then you get out of the trade right here. Even though you didn't have to, everything was still red, but there's no momentum to the downside, and you've already made your money. So you exit right there. That's how we traded that SPY. This is one that I want to show you how I take a look at the compass system and the dominator system together. So we wanted to trade QSR. We liked it long. So this is you see this big green candle right here. See everything went blue or green. We knew QSR was a nice setup. It's coming out of dynamic compression right here. Everything is blue or green. It's popping up. The institutions are buying. Looks great. So then where do we want to get in for an intraday trade on this? Well, here's the 5-minute chart on QSR, and you can see the compression on this thing. It's just moving sideways. You can see you've got multiple colors here. You got green, yellow, red, and then blue again, and then yellow again, and then green. Now we've gone from yellow to green, and right here we're sitting right at the 15 EMA. And you could have taken a trade right here if you wanted to, because it was blue. You could have taken it here, but This is where I would take it when we get this green pop out of the box riding off the 15. Remember, we want to buy its support. The 15 is support, this 15 EMA of an EMA. This is a smooth EMA. That's a nice place to take it right there. And then you just go ahead and write it up. And you see it just keeps on moving up, keeps on moving up, keeps on moving up. Everything's green. You're starting to get some wicks and tails here. You're losing momentum. You get a red one, you're out. You take your profits right in there, and that's about $2 on move on an option, which would have been a very extremely nice profit. And then again, you see it went to yellow here, so you would obviously be out. But that's what you're looking for. You don't want to be chasing it when it gets way up here. You want to be in down here where it's on this 15 EMA. And if you look at QSR, here it is on Compass. Here it is on the Dominator. And the Dominator is fairly important. It's looking at the background here is dark green. That's a bullish background, a very bullish background on QSR. It says QSR, it's green background, so we know we can go long on this trade. Now we don't have any buy signals on the Dominator system until right up here. But right here, when it's dark green and we're getting this compression, we don't have any sell signals on the Dominator right here. This tells us that the multi-time frame trend is bullish. The Compass system's telling us that it's bullish on the Compass, and the Dominator is telling us it's at least neutral. So we could. This is where we actually get in. Now, if you're a little bit more conservative, you could wait until you started getting buy signals like this, which is telling you that all the indexes now are really got market internals that are very, very bullish, and you could get in right here and write it up, and you could stay in here all until close to the end of the day. But this is where I chose to get in on breaking out of compression, which is right here on the Compass system. Looks good. As long as the Dominator is got a green background and no sell signals, I'm happy to take it right there. A more conservative trader would take it long up here. All right, another chart here on the SPY. Again, this was some people trade the SPY right off of the Dominator. You see the sell signals right here. You see the background went from black, which is multi-time frame trend of neutral, no trend here. Bearish trend right here when it went to pink. And here's your sell signal, and this is the 15 EMA on the Ninja platform on the Dominator. So right here is where you get in. As it breaks below the 15, you get in right here, and you write it down, 2 or 3 candles, and then I would have got out right here. I wouldn't even wait any longer because the SPY is something you have to trade quickly. It can revert, it jumps all over the place. You have to be really lucky to get a really long type of a move to the downside. So, but this is a nice trade with these candles on the SPY. You know, you can make 40, 50 cents, which is a nice move in the SPY. ENPH, this is another one we had long. You see here, this is, I'm sure it's short. This was a daily chart. See how it breaks out of dynamic compression right here. See how the charts went right here and went to yellow on the multi-time frame. It was already yellow on the current time frame. Then it went to red. Very bearish setup. So this is a perfect bearish setup for you to take right here on this candle, most likely. You take it right here on this dynamic compression breakdown, and we wrote it overnight for just one night, took profits right here. But I want you to see how easy it is to see whether the institutions are buying or selling using the Compass system. This is another one on Tesla. Again, it's another short. We won't keep going over these, but you can see we went from blue to yellow here. So we went from buying to selling. We broke down right here below the 15 with a pop out of the box signal. This is your entry. You just went from blue to yellow, and you got a breakdown off the 15. You take it right here. Everything stays red. No need to get out. Just because it's going sideways, you can write it right down and write it right down to here. And you could have stayed until it turned blue, but typically once you start to see some green like this, take your profits right down here. And a pretty nice run, by the way, about $110 down to about $105 on Tesla. KHC was another one we took. Again, I just want to show you, this is the daily chart. This is really critical. You see the pop out of the box signal here? You see the dynamic compression that it's breaking out of? Everything's green. Institutions are buying crafts. So we took craft overnight. We actually took it right here. We didn't get out the next day because we didn't hit our profit target, but everything was still bullish. Boom, it gapped up here the next day, and we took money and get out. And this was STZ. This was a big one we had. This was when we took right here on this candlestick right here in the breakdown. See how it went from green to yellow? Now it did go back to blue, but we were already in the trade. but you can see it how it's still bearish on everything else. And this was also one that had news where their guidance was lowered. And this is where we held it overnight, and then plop, it went right down the next day, and we took profits here. This was that's 108% gain that we took on STZ on the puts that we had for just 2 days. Same thing on UNH, and again, just want you to see here, we're going blue to yellow. There it is on the daily chart, breaking down right here. This is where you would take it short. You've got everything blue or yellow, and I'm sorry, yellow or red, and you're breaking down with a pop out of the box signal or basically a compression break here, and you just take it down. We just took it overnight for one night, took profits on this candle right here. NDG, another nice short. I guess think you can see this over and over again. This is the 5-minute chart. Here we go, blue to yellow. This is a good entry right here. Color changes from buying to selling, and you already had selling going on the current on the multi-time frame. You got a breakdown below the VWAP with a pop out of the box signal. Take the trade right there, and just ride it right down. And I don't know how far we rode this down actually, but you can see that there's no reason to get out of the trade because it's continuing to say that the institutions are selling the crap out of this thing. This is 2 trades that we're in right now. We're in Hershey short. We've been in Hershey short for a couple of days. You can see the daily chart on Hershey's. Again, selling started right here as it did a pop out of the box. We've actually had this one before, and we get back in it again as it breaks down here. Again, everything's red and yellow on the daily chart. So this is a good short setup. And this is H&R Block, and this is one we're long right now. And I think you can see why we like this long. You can see everything is green on the multi-time frame and current time frame, including the quants. And the stock has been compressing sideways here, and now it's starting to pop back up again. And we get in here, and it hasn't given us profit yet, but this is a very nice setup. It's just following this 15 right up. So that's the trade we're still in. All right, and I won't go over this again. This is a compass dominator combo. Again, if you got a dominator with a background green and a buy signal, and you got a compass system that is it's also green, giving you a buy signal, you can take larger size when the dominator and compass system align. And bearish is just the opposite, background red on the dominator with sell signals. And again, it's possible to take larger size when you get this set up and stay in the trades longer. That's assuming you've got some market trend that you can lean on. The market is the most important thing. You want to be leaning on the market, and that's what's going to tell you how long to stay in a trade, how big a position you should put on. Get a choppy day in the market, you don't really want to be taking any large positions because you don't have any market tailwind. And this just kind of covers some of the things that I'm trying to do in the trading room, what our goals are. Our goals are to help members become consistently profitable traders under all market conditions. And we've had some brutal market conditions in the last year and a half that we've traded. But again, we've had some really good runs. We had 29 wins in a row as our best run so far, and 3 losses in a row is our worst losses, sequential losses. I want to teach members to be most effective use of the compass and dominator systems. And again, videos on all of these. I want to educate members on identifying and trading the highest probability trade setups while being patient. This is really important. While being patient, we want to find the right trades, the highest probability trades, but we don't want to we don't want to race into trades and get FOMO'd out of a trade or FOMO'd into a trade. We don't want to be fear of missing out. We're waiting for the trade to come to us. And I want to be able to accomplish these goals in a relatively low stress and disciplined environment. Trading should not be it should not be adrenaline producing, or you shouldn't be sitting there needing to take in assets because you're so nervous about the trade you're in. Trading professionally and trading to have consistent wins, to be consistently profitable, it's just discipline and doesn't need to be stressful. It should not be stressful. You know, if you're stressed out over the trades you've got, you probably have too much risk on. So that's what we try to do here, is do this with a low stress and disciplined environment. We're not doing hyper scalps. We're not racing in and out of trades. We're being very disciplined and focused on, if we get into a trade on the daily chart, that's the chart we're going to use to make a decision on whether we stay in the trade or not stay in the trade. All right, this is 2022. You've probably all seen this. Again, we had 340 total trades in 2022. I haven't done all of 2023 yet. 298 wins, 45 losses, 86% win rate, profit factor 2.16. When I did some trades from October 1st to December 30th last year. And the reason I did this was because the dominated system came out in October of 2022. So I wanted to see how the trades worked if I used just the compass system and traded stocks with the compass being in our favor, bullish or bearish, but the dominator being neutral. So these are the trades that I took where the compass system was in our favor and the dominator was neutral. It was not against us, but it was just neutral. So we did 151 total trades, 135 wins, 89.4%, 14 losses, 9.3%, 2 scratches. Profit factor 3.57, pretty nice. Now, when we went to from the same dates, when I took trades where I had the compass system and the dominator system lined up, in other words, I had a bullish compass and a bullish dominator, or a bearish compass and a bearish dominator with sell signals, we did 123 trades. Obviously, fewer trades because this system doesn't set up with both of those as frequently. We had 119 wins for 96.7%. 96.7%. This is pretty astronomical, and I was pretty amazed that we were able to do that kind of have that kind of success rate. And it depends on a lot of this depends on the market. The market was pretty decent during October, November, December last year. It was pretty bearish, and we were able to do a pretty good job. But that's still very difficult to repeat that over and over again. 96%. And 92% that we got for the September is pretty high. It's pretty hard to get over that. Profit factor 12.41, which again, this is astronomical here. Now the SPY Super System, these were beta tests. These weren't called out in the room. We were just testing the SPY Super System back here, which again was taking SPY trades when the compass system and the dominator system both were aligned, was giving us buy signals or sell signals on the SPY, and it was coming off of support or resistance levels. We had 100 trade, 86 wins, and 10 losses. So 86% win rate was pretty nice. We noticed we had a 14.17% profit factor in these. That's really high. Again, it's very difficult to maintain that. But the SPY Super System has been producing in this year. It's been producing in this neighborhood 85 to 88% wins on the SPY Super System. But again, they're fairly quick trades. They're not trades that I can alert on. I'm not going to go over this. The put credit spreads. I have a video on put credit spreads. I'm not doing any right now until this market turns neutral to bullish. And then I have links here on using debit spreads. I have videos on all of these in the library we've got for the training library. We've got videos on that. We got videos on Heikin-Ashi candles and the whole. This is a link to the whole Compass video library. I am watching some stocks for Monday. I don't know if you get the video before these come out, but take a when you get the video and you look at that, take a look at the setups on these charts on these stocks for bullish and bearish. And look at what the compass system looks like on them or any other trading platform that you've got for charts and see what we see in these trades, that these are longs and these are shorts. I like to have longs and shorts set up because I don't know which way the market's going to go tomorrow, and I want to know about that. So if you happen to get into a trade like overnight, it looks good overnight. For the entry criteria, if you're going to go long, you don't want to go long until the stock breaks over the previous day's high with a high probability trade setup. Again, compass system needs to be green or blue for a long, green or blue on the multi-time frame and the current time frame. And for short entries, you need to look for it to break below the previous day's low. Because when you're looking at a candlestick from the previous day, the high is obviously going to be resistance for a long, and the low is going to be support for a short. So you want to see a breakthrough those particular levels before you enter the trade. And try to take trades that are trending with the market that day. So if you got a bullish trending day, take a look at the setups for the longs. Bearish trading day, take a look at the setups for the short. All right, so that's it for this week in this month of September. Again, thanks everybody for being in the room. I appreciate all of the members. We've got a lot of members in the room, a lot of members on the alert service, and I think we had a really good September. And I know we had a really good September, and I know a lot of members do better than I do in there, because they're looking at other trades as well, but they're all finding high probability trade setups. So again, thanks for being in the room. I appreciate it, and look forward to seeing everybody in the room in the morning. Have a great night.